Good afternoon, and welcome to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I'm your host, Kevin King. He is I, and I am him, the 800 Credit Score Man himself. And again, thank each and every one of you for coming in and listening to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. You guys know that I truly, truly appreciate it. So what are we going to do today? Today, we're going to piggyback a little bit off of what we talked about last week. Last week, we talked about credit utilization. We are going to piggyback off of doing that, and you'll see why I'm really harping on this particular subject. So before you go anywhere, I know if you listened to it last week or you listened to previous shows and I've talked about credit utilization, that you're saying, I know all about that. I know Kevin told me all about credit utilization. I heard X, Y, and Z talk about it as well. So I know all about that. Don't go anywhere. Listen to this show. So it's not only going to be about this credit utilization. We're also going to talk about the wrong and the right way to go ahead about improving your credit scores. So we're going to talk about that, the right way and the wrong way to do that. And then also, I think I'm going to have a little opportunity to discuss this CNBC article that came out earlier this week about your credit as well. So shout out to Lee Morgan. Lee Morgan sent me this article, so appreciate you. Thank you for keeping me in the loop, and now I'm able to bring it to you. So if you have anything that you want to send to me that's credit related that I might talk about on the show, or you have a show topic, or if you got a question for the question of the day, then you send me those ideas. You can do that by emailing me at 800@creditscoreman.com. Yes, that's 800@creditscoreman.com, or catch me on any social media platform. This actually, Lee Morgan actually hit me on Instagram and sent me a message through Instagram. So I'm 800 Credit Score Man on Instagram. Facebook, you can get to my page, which is the 800 Credit Score Man page. You can get to that on Facebook, as well as Twitter. I'm at Credit Score _man on Twitter. That's at Credit Score _man. Follow me there. I will post this CNBC article I'm talking about today sometime. So if you want to see the actual article in itself, then hit me on Twitter at Credit Score _man. It's definitely going up there first. Probably not going to do it on Instagram. Might do it on the 800 Credit Score Man on Facebook. So you guys can contact me on those things. So we're going to talk about all that stuff today. So stay tuned, stay engaged with the 800 Credit Score Man show today. So I tell you guys all the time, it's not a show if a king does not get a shout out on the show just because of birthdays. And let me explain this right quick. So some of you guys out there are probably like, this dude can't be related to all these people. I am. So when your father has 9 brothers and sisters, yes, with the same mom and dad, 9 brothers and sisters, and each and every one of them have a minimum, I believe, of 3 children. How much each and every one of them have a minimum of 3 children, then you create a big family. So I got a huge family, so we've got some shout outs today. So this coming up Tuesday, Toya King is celebrating her birthday. So happy birthday to you, Toya. Also on Tuesday are a set of twins from the King family, Ronald and Donald King. They are celebrating their birthday on Tuesday as well. So happy birthday to all of you guys. And then last week, my cousin Katrina Bradley, she celebrated her birthday as well. So happy birthday to all the Kings out there. Appreciate y'all for listening and always, having my back. I appreciate that. So let's jump into, why I'm seriously harping on this credit utilization portion of what makes up your credit score. So I'm piggybacking off of what we did last week. And if you didn't listen to that show, go listen to it. That's show like number 97. So I think this is show number 98. That's show number 97. It's entitled Why Your Credit Card Debt Matters. And in that show, we discuss the importance of credit utilization. I give you the definition. I tell you how to calculate your own credit utilization and much more. So go check that show out. Just go check that show out on whatever platform you listen to the show on. Go check that show out. You'll get all the necessary background info that you need to help you along and bring you up to speed to what we're talking about. So let's do this. Like preachers say, well, maybe I'm just used to listening to, down south preachers or Southern Baptist preachers or what have you on today. So not today, they say on today. So like preachers say, on today, we're going to discuss so much why I've been harping on this credit utilization part of your credit score. So as mentioned last week, Your credit utilization is 30% of your score, what makes up your score. So that means it's a BFD. Yes, it's a big effing deal. Just go ask Joe Biden. Only your payment history has more weighting, and only by 5%. So your payment history counts for 35% of what your credit score is. However, then right behind it is your credit utilization. So that's why it makes a big deal. It's a big deal about you getting under wraps your debt, and when it comes to your credit utilization, because frankly, if you're talking about payments, and your payments are 30% of what your credit score, your payment is 35% of what your credit score is, and if you missed a couple of payments in the far past or in the very recent future, if you missed a couple of payments, then what? Are you screwed for life? Will you no longer be able to get a good credit score and get low interest rates just because you had some low payments? No, because there are 5 categories with that. And of course, we're going to discuss some of those as well. So let's move on to, the category. This is the category that you can really manipulate the most for your benefit. Of course, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you because we're talking about your debt. This means you already have some debt. You owe some people. You might need to find a way to get rid of that particular debt. So, yes, it's going to cost you to do so, but you can absolutely manipulate it to your advantage. You can definitely do that. So, the first one, of course, is your payments. So, you must, a must, if you're going to obtain a good credit score and retain a good credit score, then you've got to decide or be dedicated to making your payments on time. You'll never, ever, ever reach a good credit goal if periodically you just miss payments for whatever reason. I don't care if it's because it's your job and you get big bonuses or you only work on commission. If you miss payments, you'll never be able to get a good credit score, because all of the positive things that you do, all of the gains that you make, when you get that missed payment, it kills your credit score. It's going to go. And the higher your credit score, the worse this gets for you. So if you have a high credit score because you've been doing everything the way you're supposed to, and then you go ahead and you miss a payment, it's really, really going to screw you. All right. So make sure you got to dedicate yourself to, I'm going to make payments and I'm going to make them on time. Inquiries. So you got these inquiries. You can control this. All you got to do is limit the number of times you want to apply for credit. Sometimes it's a necessary evil. You got to go in because you need some credit for this, that, or the other. So you got to go in and you got to do that. So, but your inquiries, that's something that you can manipulate it as well. Then we go on to like your mix. So do you have different types of credit, revolving versus installment? Do you have both of those types of credit? If you don't have both types of credit, revolving and installment, and I've given the definition of those before. If you don't have different types of credit, then you're missing out on a portion of how much higher your credit score could be. And then, of course, your length of history. It's a little harder to manipulate this one, but it absolutely can be done. And I'm probably going to talk about that a little bit in the wrong and right way portion of today's show. So all of those things are things that you need to look for. People always want their credits fixed fast. They can't. Hey, can I get a 700 by the end of the year? Now it's October. It's the middle of October. Can you get a 700 by the end of the year and your score is sitting at 602? Probably not. You probably can't get to 700 by the end of the year. But it all depends. You got a 602. What reason do you have a 602? Is it something really simple, but it's really dragging down your credit score that you can have removed, and maybe you get to 700 by the end of the year? Could be. Probably not. Probably not the thing that happens often, but I guess it could be done. But I'm gonna say no. Generally speaking, no. If you have a 600 and you're trying to get to 700 in 2.5 months, and you've got a plethora of things on your credit report, you probably won't get there. Not by December. That doesn't mean you can't get there by February. Doesn't mean that you can't get there by March, but it might take a little time. People always want to get their credit fixed fast. So there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do this. So I know that I have lost out on business with the 800 credit score man, because I tell people there's a right way to do it and a wrong way to do it. And if you're going to be one of my clients, we're going to do it the right way. So it might take a little time, but you got to trust the process. You got to trust the process. It might take a little time, but we're going to get you to where you want to go as well. So, all right. So here's some of the wrong things that people like to do when it comes to their credit. CPN numbers. So if you don't know what a CPN number is, excellent. Don't worry about it. Keep it out of your head. But yes, people try to use a CPN number. So in a CPN. So in my opinion, this is my opinion, this pretty much borders on fraud. I mean, I don't think anybody's been prosecuted for or they're going after people that offer CPNs. Um, but first of all, you don't learn anything. It's just not. People that listen to the show, they're here to learn, and so you don't learn anything if you get a CPN, and it just doesn't help. Just doesn't help you if you do a CPN, and it's not the right way to. It's not the right way to quote unquote repair, restore, or fix your credit. And you just don't learn anything about how credit works, which means if you get a good score after doing a CPN, then you're doomed to repeat it. You're gonna fall back in the same old trap that you fell in before because you didn't learn your lesson the first time because you did a CPN. So if you don't know what a CPN is, I know I just talked all about it. If you don't know what a CPN is, basically it's another number. So instead, when you utilize your credit applications, you put in your CPN instead of your Social Security. So it's almost creating an alternative number for you, and then your score, of course, will be based off of that versus the plethora of things that would be wrong and associated with your actual Social Security number. So that's what a CPN is. It's not the right way to go about it, but you can get a CPN. It might help you in the long run, especially if you have a whole lot of debt that you just absolutely will never get out of, and you might not want to file bankruptcy or whatever. Maybe it'll help you. Speaking of bankruptcy, so filing bankruptcy, this is not how you repair your credit woes, not by filing bankruptcy. Now, it's how you fix your financial woes. If you got some financial issues and you like, look, I need to file bankruptcy. I just can't get from up under this. I got to file bankruptcy. It's one of the laws that we have, and you're able to do that to rid yourself of some of these debt. But that's not how you repair your credit. I've had way too many people come to me and said, my credit was bad, so I filed bankruptcy. That's not why you file bankruptcy, to help you with your credit. Bankruptcy kills your credit, and it stays on your credit report for 7 or 10 years. 7 or 10 years, depending on which one you file. So if you file Chapter 13, stays on your credit for 7 years. If you file Chapter 7, stays on your credit for 10 years. And so there is a difference between the two. So some of you don't know the difference between the two. I did a show talked all about bankruptcy, I think. So go back, look at the descriptions of some of the shows. It may say it in there, so you'll know what the differences are between the two. But yeah, those things happen. You might have to file a bankruptcy, but that's for you to fix financial issues, not for you to help you with your credit. So if you're like, my credit score isn't going up, I've been trying to get my credit score to go up, and it's just not going up. Most likely it's not going up because you're doing some things the wrong way. You may think you're doing the things the correct way, but you might be doing them the wrong way, and that's why your credit score isn't moving. Somebody said to me that you are in credit purgatory. So I told them that this was going to live yet again on this show, that you were in credit purgatory because your score's not moving anywhere. So people that file bankruptcy to try to help them with their credit think they're going to come out on the other side of it credit-wise and be better necessarily. It's not necessarily the case. Not necessarily the case that that's going to happen for you. But even if you file bankruptcy, all is not lost. All is not lost. I was actually just reading an article earlier this morning that talked about filing bankruptcy and then reestablishing credit. So we may revisit that again on 800 Credit Score Man Show. All right. So then what's next? What's another a really wrong way for you to try to restore your credit or fix your credit? And that's trade lines. Everybody wants to add a trade line. They want to see if they can get their score to go up. Here's my thought process on trade lines. So also borderline illegal, in my opinion. So what a trade line is, everything is actually a trade line. So if you have a credit card with Citibank, then that's a trade line. If you have a mortgage, you got a trade line. You got a car, that's a trade line. Student loans, that's a trade line. But these trade lines are ones that you add to your credit report that are not yours. They're not yours. They didn't originate with you. So you can go to a place that will add a trade line to your credit report. And so let's say it might even say that you've had this particular trade line for 4 years.